The movie tells the story of an architect and workaholic, Steven, who welcomes the idea of hosting his family for Christmas. He contacts Gretchen, a professional Christmas decorator, for assistance. Gretchen deploys her experience over the years to bring the family members closer to each other. The movie opens in the well-decorated lobby of a large, multi-storied office complex. Gretchen looks extremely satisfied as she surveys the room in admiration of the decorations she has done. As the camera pans around, 6 large outdoor yard decorations, 2 full-size light-up reindeer, and some fake snow can be noticed. Tim, the security guard, enters and gives Gretchen a thumbs up, saying the decorations look great. In the second scene, Tom walks into the office, where Steven is already seated at his desk for the day's work. Steven looks at his tie and says that it looks more festive. Tom admits that it is his Christmas tie and that he enjoys Christmas. Tom informs Steven that Rachel wants to talk to him, for it seems there is an investor who wishes to invest in their company. Rachel enters and notifies Steven that he will step in as the lead on this. She knows he'll be busy with the museum, but Steven assures her that he can handle both. She says that the board will not have a problem making him a partner on the investment. She turns to Tom, tells him that he is the next in line, and leaves. The third scene establishes the first encounter between Gretchen and Steven. Gretchen first encounters Steven in the lobby of his office. Steven is seen texting with his phone as he exits the elevator. Gretchen turns and accidentally throws the fake snow on him. She immediately apologizes to him and mentions that she has been hired to decorate the lobby for Christmas by the building manager. At that point, Steven notices the decorated lobby, and in his opinion, he feels that the lobby is over-decorated. On the contrary, Gretchen thinks that since it is Christmas, everything should be overboard. In the fourth scene, we see Gretchen walking through the halls of her workplace, and the exact same Christmas trees are lined up along the wall every 4 feet or so. Now we meet Gretchen's blonde-haired co-worker. From the conversation between Gretchen and the lady, it is made known that Gretchen works there part-time so that she can have time for another gig, freelance decorating. Next, her boss comes over to give her some instructions on 2 new decorating jobs. As he leaves, Gretchen looks dissatisfied because she wishes for complete creative control in her projects. In the next scene, Gretchen is standing with a co-worker in the hallway of the decorating firm, and they have just finished putting finishing touches to a decoration. The two are chatting as she encourages Gretchen that she should just focus on what she wants and not splitting her energy. Gretchen wishes that she had more clients. In the next scene, Steven receives a call from his sister, who informs him that he will be in charge of hosting the family for Christmas. He feels overwhelmed with the task and tries to convince his sister that it won't be possible as a result of his hectic work schedule, and also for the fact that he does not even have a Christmas tree in his house. His sister insists that he will, since she has already informed their mother, and also for the fact that he has a nice house. After a while, Steven agrees to host the family during Christmas. Gretchen is seen in the next scene, making a cancellation of a business appointment, when the blonde-haired colleague of hers walks up to her at the table. She tells Gretchen that she has hooked her up and thinks it would be nice for her to meet the man, but Gretchen turns down her offer. Gretchen rather makes it clear to her that she does not need a boyfriend, but more clients. Steven is looking worried about his family coming over. Tom tries to cheer him up and thinks it is a great idea for him to have his family members around him. Steven thinks otherwise, though, as he is a very busy man. Obviously, he does not know how to go about decorating his home to satisfy his mother's curiosity. Steven tells him that his family expects an elaborate house, which if not perfect, isn't good. Tom then advises him to hire someone to do that for him. Steven marvels at the thought of hiring a professional Christmas decorator. At that point, he suddenly remembers Gretchen and decides that she could be the one to handle the job. Tom then encourages him to ask the guy in the lobby for Gretchen's card, since he believes that Steven can get information about Gretchen through him. Steven manages to get hold of Gretchen's complimentary card and contacts her. Back at Gretchen's office, she has just finished putting the finishing touches on a gingerbread house on display. The blonde-haired co-worker and her boss are both admiring the work. As they step away, Steven's phone call comes along and Gretchen picks it up. Steven introduces himself and makes it known to Gretchen that he would love to hire her services, as he is expected to host his family members for Christmas. Gretchen agrees to come to his house in the afternoon. Gretchen arrives at Steven's apartment, and he thanks her for honoring his invitation, despite the fact that it was such a short notice. Gretchen replies that she is glad to do so, as long as it is in the name of Christmas. Steven continues to text on his phone while she is talking about her decorating ideas. She follows Steven inside the house and says that she likes his neighborhood. She points out that the other houses are festive and decorated, and Steven's own is nice too, but will need a facelift. She asks Steven what kind of Christmas he wants, if he wants it traditional or modern. Then, she picks up a framed picture and asks him if the people in the photo are his family. Steven adds that it is because of his love for his family that he wants to give the best. Gretchen drops the photo and appeals for Steven's assistance in measuring the kitchen. From the conversation between both of them, they learn a lot about each other's lives, passions, and what Christmas means to them. Gretchen picks up her bag and promises that she will come back tomorrow and transform Steven's house. The next scene opens with exquisite Christmas decorations on the exterior of Steven's house. Gretchen is on a ladder in heeled boots. Steven looks through the window to catch a glimpse of Gretchen's activities outside. He then steps out of the house and asks if he could assist her in the job. She asks for Steven to help her with the Christmas lights, which he hands over to her. Finally, the exterior and interior part of Steven's house is drastically transformed with Christmas decorations. Steven enters, texting with a phone in his hand as usual, oblivious of this transformation, until Gretchen draws his attention. He says that his family will be in shock upon seeing the decorations. Gretchen informs him that he still needs a Christmas tree. The doorbell rings and Steven moves to answer. He opens the door to his family members, already waiting at the door with wrapped Christmas gifts. They are all excited upon meeting one another. Steven's mother hugs and kisses him. She asks for where to drop the Christmas gifts. They are all excited to see the decorations. Steven's mother wants to know if her son is actually the one who decorated the house. At that moment, Steven introduces Gretchen as his Christmas decorator. They commend Gretchen for her wonderful job. Steven's mother is the first to observe the absence of the Christmas tree, and Steven tells her that he does not have one yet. However, he must be pretty forgetful, as 1 second later he passes a fully decorated tree in the hallway. Also, about 3 seconds later, after that, we see another fully decorated tree in the study. At that moment, Steven's father complains that he's hungry and asks if there is something in the house to eat. Steven does not answer this question. Gretchen tries to take her leave, so that Steven will have ample time with his family members. Steven stops her by saying that he wants to see her for a second. Steven and Gretchen discuss this in a conversation at a separate corner of the house. In exchange for a job recommendation, she will become his Christmas coordinator. Gretchen agrees to this arrangement. As they re-enter, Steven's mother makes good remarks about the decorations, and Gretchen feels elated. Then, Steven uses the opportunity to inform them that Gretchen will step in as their official Christmas coordinator in his absence, since he needs to go for work. His sister wonders why he should hire someone to give them a wonderful Christmas experience. Steven's father convinces her that it is a great idea. Steven, in his usual manner, has started texting with his phone. Gretchen suggests that they all go out the next day to get a Christmas tree. Steven informs them that he will not be coming along for the Christmas tree. But he gives it a second thought when his father reminds him that they are all there because of him, and even suggests that he should take some time off work. In the next scene, Steven and his family members in the company of Gretchen, of course, go out to pick up a Christmas tree. At the tree farm, Gretchen instructs them on how to pick a good Christmas tree. She tells them that the key to finding a perfect Christmas tree depends on the one with the strongest scent, and when you bend the needles, they will snap. She instructs them to go and find a Christmas tree. Steven goes up to her and asks her how she manages to know so much about Christmas trees. He finally leaves her. But Steven's sister takes the opportunity to probe about their relationship. She reveals that her brother buries himself in his work since he suffered a heartbreak from his previous relationship. At a corner, Steven's niece is seen humming a Christmas song, while Steven listens with rapt attention. He praises his niece for the melodious tone of her voice. She frowns immediately, and Steven is obviously concerned about what could make her worry so much. She complains that her father wants her to become a doctor. She pleads with him not to tell her parents about what she mentioned to him. Steven is then informed by his sister that Gretchen has finally seen a very big Christmas tree. Later, Steven and his brother-in-law are seen trying to place the Christmas tree at a corner inside the house. Steven informs them that he has to take his leave since he has work to do. At this point, Gretchen suggests they should put some lights on the tree. All hands are on deck as lights are being sent to the tree, while Steven's mother watches on. Steven is seen drawing his sketches, while the noise filters into his study. Steven's father volunteers to go and help the kids make hot chocolate, while Gretchen and Steven's mother ties the lights to the trees. At a point in time, Steven loses concentration as the laughter filters into his study. He enters the living room and gets enthralled at the sight of the decorated Christmas tree, acknowledging that they did a fantastic job. The expression on the faces of Steven's family members as he walks Gretchen out speaks volumes, as they suspect there is a love relationship between them. Gretchen tries to convince Steven to join them in the Christmas activities, but he talks about his work all the time. They hug each other as she enters her vehicle. Unfortunately, her vehicle refuses to start until Steven's sister discovers the fault is with the alternator. She volunteers to fix Gretchen's car tomorrow, while Steven offers to give Gretchen a ride to her house. She accepts Steven's offer. Upon getting to her house, Steven assists her in bringing her stuff inside. The next scene opens in a well-decorated hall at the Silver Pine Inn. Gretchen and her aunt receive Christine, Steven's sister, Helen, his mother, and his niece. Christine hands the car key over to Gretchen. They continue with holiday traditions like making mulled cider and decorating cookies. They chat while working, and at that point, Gretchen asks Steven's niece what she does as part of extracurricular activities in high school. Christine informs Gretchen that her daughter is good at volleyball. This sounds interesting to Gretchen, who comments that when she was in high school, she was not so good at sports, but that she liked set design for play productions. Steven's mother believes that her experience as a set designer is actually what contributed to her success as a Christmas decorator. In the next scene, Rachel tells Steven that he will be talking directly to David's spouse, the CEO at the investment firm. Immediately, Steven receives a message from Gretchen wishing that Steven was with them. Tom enters and encourages Steven to have a break, step away, and get new perspectives. He advises him to take dinner since he didn't take lunch. Steven promises to take his advice and leaves. The next scene opens with the family members in the company of Gretchen, making their traditional delicacy. Obviously, Steven takes Tom's advice as he joins the family. At some point here, he and Gretchen have a moment alone. This moment provides an ample opportunity for both of them to know and understand each other better. By picking up the framed photos in the house of Gretchen's aunt, he got to know all he needed to know about her. First, he picks up her picture from when she was still at the infant stage, then her late parents' photos, and then the framed photo of Gretchen with a man, whom she admits was her ex. Steven apologizes, because he believes he must have hurt her feelings by asking. At this point, Steven also tells her more about his past love life. His ex-girlfriend cheated on him. As they recall these past memories, Christine interrupts their conversation, inviting Gretchen to the family dinner for the night. The next scene shows the family members on the dining table, amidst laughter and jokes. All sorts of cookies and delicacies are served here. Steven is also seen spending more time with his family members, and this helps a lot in getting him closer to Gretchen. He confesses he likes her decorated cookies. At this point, Steven gets a call from work. He turns it off and wonders what the expression on the faces of his family members are all about. He tells them that cookies are not going to decorate themselves. The next scene shows Gretchen and her blonde-haired colleague, who teases her that she must have fallen in love with Steven. Gretchen denies this, saying that she is just working for him as a Christmas coordinator, and that Steven is just a client. Her colleague still believes that there is an affair going on between her and Steven. It is obvious that Gretchen becomes fed up with the conversation, as she keeps asking her whether she thinks Steven is cute. Back at the office, in the next scene, Steven is running into problems. The client does not like his presentation. When the client is pressed for what he would like, his statement implies that it is difficult to describe exactly what he wants. Steven assures him that he will definitely do something about it. At this point, Rachel even suggests fixing another meeting a day after tomorrow, and the client agrees and leaves. Rachel encourages Steven to go back to the drawing board. In the next scene, the family members are entertained by a group of choristers. They applaud the performance and are encouraged to join in singing for the second round. They start singing, but no one from Steven's family joins. At this point, Steven urges his niece to join the performance. She draws the attention of the family members during the performance. Christine is overjoyed and hugs her daughter for singing so well. Obviously, she is very proud of her. Along the well-decorated streets with Christmas trees and lights, people are seen buying meals and other groceries from the stores. Steven and his family members are seen as they discuss the amazing performance of Paige, Steven's niece. Her mother thinks she gets the beautiful voice from her, but her grandma thinks otherwise. Her mother advises her to join a choir, and she informs them that she joined the school choir recently. Her father kisses her on the hair. In the next scene, Gretchen is seen having fun with the rest of the family members when she notices that Paige is all on her own. She walks up to her to make sure that everything is all right. Gretchen notices that she is not happy and tries to find out what could be troubling her. She divulges to her that she has been missing her choir practices and is not happy about that. Meanwhile, Steven hides by a corner where he peeps from time to time. Eavesdropping on their conversation, Gretchen tries to show understanding of her plight and tells her that she felt the same way when working with the corporation and later decided to leave her job for her dream. Paige tells Gretchen that her father will feel disappointed if he knows she wants to go into music. Gretchen encourages Paige to pursue her dream and get what she wants. Stephen then enters, carrying a tray of decorated cookies. In the next scene, Stephen and Gretchen climb down the staircase as they leave the house. Stephen stops midway and tells Gretchen that he overheard her conversation with his niece. He tries to find out if she actually quit her job. Gretchen merely tells him that initially she is scared of taking the lead. Stephen says that he's scared too. He has always had the passion for designing homes and families for people, but he ended up with a totally different job. He thinks of pursuing his dreams so that he can have enough time to spend with his family members. He says that meeting Gretchen has inspired him to pursue his dreams. They are about to kiss each other when his brother-in-law enters and interrupts everything. In the next scene, Gretchen enters her house and then gets a phone call from her boss. The clients are not happy with the markups, despite the fact that she followed instructions. She promises to do something about it. Stephen gets inspired as a result of the romantic moment he shared with Gretchen. We know this because we see him drawing lots of lines with his pencil, just like the director told him to. Mom and Steve discuss Gretchen and how he feels about her. He says he feels weird asking her out because of their business relationship, but his mom encourages him to go ahead. Stephen and his niece design Gretchen's apartment for her. Upon seeing this, Gretchen is touched emotionally. Tearfully, she thanks Stephen and his niece for transforming her house into such a wonderful apartment. Stephen nails the presentation with the client. Apparently, he changed a rectangle to a half circle, and this is exactly what the client wanted that he didn't know he wanted. Next, Stephen makes good on his promise to Gretchen and sets up an interview between her and his boss. Surprisingly, Gretchen is actually offered the job of the in-house decorator for the firm. But when she finds out that she cannot have complete creative control, she turns down the position. Stephen feels bad and offers to double her pay, which makes her angry. Offering her a holiday gig, getting her a kick-ass job offer, decorating her apartment, doubling her pay, what an inconsiderate douchebag. Gretchen goes to her aunt's house and finds out that all of Stephen's family, including Stephen, have been invited for a potluck dinner. Stephen and Gretchen make up and giggle a bit and kiss, then walk upstairs past 4 Christmas trees and a weird giant stuffed Christmas moose to join the rest of the family. Dinner consists of a pie, Christmas cookies, salad rolls, and a centerpiece of fake roses and a planter covered in foil.